Who watches the watcher? That's what we're going to answer today, as some very brave members of the New York Fire Department started a chorus of boos and chants of Trump while New York Attorney General Letitia James was on stage at an FDNY promotion ceremony. Trump campaign spokesman Stephen Chung commended them, saying that the rank and file of the FDNY know they have no greater friend than President Trump, and that the president is honored by and grateful for their very vocal support. Now, I say brave because right after this happened, the FDNY decided to launch an investigation to find out who these people are. Who was booing Letitia James? Department investigators are even reviewing video footage of the event in Brooklyn to ID those that were behind what they called grossly inappropriate conduct. So again, guys, let me ask you, who watches The Watchers? And no, I'm not talking about that video series on Netflix, because Letitia James is now riding her marquee prosecution of former President Donald Trump to some very buzzy headlines and a round of applause from the left. She's also raised a ton of money for her various campaigns, and apparently she's been spending it in a variety of, shall we say, eye-popping ways? Okay. Over 2023, she dropped more than $28,500 on hotel accommodations, including luxury joints in Puerto Rico. That's part of close to $120,000 spent on hotels since 2018. She spent north of $100,000 on meals and catering at places ranging from ritzy steakhouses to Dave & Buster's over the same span. And of course, don't forget about the thousands upon thousands that she spent at Target, BJ's Wholesale, and New York City nightclubs, all under the expense report heading saying office. Now, we're not saying that she's done anything illegal here. It's just really a lot of money when you look at it. Definitely raises some questions, to say the least. You know what I mean? This, as Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman has filed a federal lawsuit against Letitia James to block her from thwarting his order banning transgender athletes from competing against biological girls in competitive sporting events held at county athletic facilities. So yeah, who watches The Watchers? That's what we're going to try to answer today as we look into some very important information surrounding the New York Attorney General. It's definitely going to be a big one, guys, so definitely stay right here. So here's a quick preview of what happened with FDNY booing New York Attorney General Letitia James. Check this out.
Meanwhile, FDNY Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh apologized for the heckling of Attorney General Letitia James last week.
It happened at a department promotion ceremony at a church in Brooklyn last Thursday by pro-Trump members in that audience. Ms. Kavanaugh returned to that church yesterday to address the issue.
Not only is the fire department the greatest fire department in the world, it is also the most professional fire department in the world. And we let down that reputation on Thursday.
So the New York Post is reporting that a memo was handed out yesterday at all the firehouses warning firefighters that department investigators are reviewing video footage of the event to identify those FDNY people involved. Meanwhile, a spokesperson for the FDNY, Jim Long, said the investigation isn't about politics, but professionals at an official event. You know, freedom of speech, I think, does play a part in some of this.
But also, if you're representing the fire department, that's what they're saying.
So, yeah, as you heard there, guys, Letitia James was met with a chorus of boos and chants of Trump while trying to deliver a speech at the FDNY promotional ceremony. So as Letitia James walked onto the podium at the Christian Cultural Center's Brooklyn campus, members of the crowd, made up of families of captains, battalion chiefs, and civilians who were up for promotion, as well as the firemen who worked beside them, they began to jeer. And as James continued her speech, the boos quickly turned to chants in support of former President Donald Trump. The crowd was basically chanting Trump, Trump, Trump. Now for a little bit of context here. There was a promotion ceremony. There were 65 uniformed members from fire operations, EMS operations, and of course the Bureau of Fire Investigation being promoted at the ceremony, which also honored the Reverend Pamela Holmes, who was sworn as the FDNY champlain on the same day. So James attending the event was a break from tradition, as usually the elected official invited to speak at the promotional ceremony has been the mayor. And according to one of the anonymous firefighters who joined in the booing, it wasn't just James's surprise attendance that prompted them. According to them, it was also the crowd's reaction to the recent case against Trump, something that he calls a politically motivated witch hunt. The firefighter sees it this way. James has no problem bragging that she convicted Trump. So this is how hardworking New Yorkers who put their life on the line feel about her actions. Well, she's definitely become confident about her win. She's even vowed to ask a judge to seize Trump's assets, including some of his prized Big Apple properties, if he fails to get the judgment stayed and doesn't cough up what he owes. Now, according to many people that I've talked to about this false case should be thrown out immediately. And for them, Letitia James should be thrown in jail immediately. After that, the people will speak immediately in November 2024, and a lot say it's going to be Trump 2024. But what do you guys think? Trump campaign spokesperson Stephen Chung has his own words to describe James. He ripped the Attorney General as an embarrassment to the people of New York. And according to him, the rank and file of the FDNY know that they have no greater friend than President Trump, and that the president is honored by and grateful for their very vocal support. And some of you guys have said it in your comments. Evil never wins. I've even read some describing Letitia James not as a lawyer, but as an extortionist. So yeah, people are definitely praying that she will not win and that she will be removed because for these Trump supporters, she's the devil that needs to get gone already. You know what I mean? Now, talking about extortion and political witch hunt, the FDNY brass is turning up the heat on these pro-Trump firefighters who booed James at the promotional ceremony. Now, according to the official memo handed out by the Big Apple firehouses over the weekend, they're warning firefighters that department investigators are reviewing video footage of the event in Brooklyn last week to identify those behind what they're calling grossly inappropriate conduct. The memo also cautioned the firefighters to keep their politics at home, saying don't do it on the job's time or other members' time or on their family's time. Do it on your own time. Now, according to this, the department's Bureau of Investigations and Trials is gathering video and they're identifying members that brought discredit to the department. They want the members to come forward so that they can come to their headquarters and supposedly be educated on why their behavior is unacceptable. Meanwhile, Andrew Ansbro, president of the Uniformed Firefighters Association, called the outburst at the ceremony disappointing, but said the union will always stand behind its members and that they will strongly defend any of our members who face discipline. The Uniformed Fire Officers Association, which represents lieutenants, firefighters, and other ranking members, said that should any member feel as though they are being subject to an investigation due to the nature of specific events or questions, they should immediately notify the UFOA and request representation. Any additional inquiries should not continue until a UFOA representative is present. FDNY spokesperson Jim Long said no one is hunting anyone down. But you gotta wonder though, what makes him feel the need to say that? You know what I mean? Honestly, guys, we are literally just getting started. We're still gonna talk about some very suspicious splurges from the Attorney General, plus her trying to block a ban on trans athletes in Nassau County. So stay right there, guys. But first, I just want to kind of squeeze in a very quick but very big thanks for you guys watching our videos, and also a big thanks for lighting up the like button. Appreciate you guys so much for the support. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for sharing these videos on Facebook and Twitter. You have no idea how helpful that is for the channel. Now, honestly, I heard what these FDNY protesters were saying. I mean, like, who's looking into Letitia James for a change? Now, some critics are actually saying that the Attorney General needs to have her taxes investigated. This after her riding her marquee prosecution of former President Donald Trump to the headlines of mainstream media, headlines and the applause of anti-Trump politicians. And all that media attention means she's also raised a ton of money for her various campaigns. Now, the question is, how is she spending the money? Now, let me share some of the facts that we've collected. Over 2023, right about the time she brought up the case against Trump, Letitia James dropped more than $28,500 on hotel accommodations, including luxury joints in Puerto Rico. That's part of close to $120,000 spent on hotels since 2018. She spent north of $100,000 on meals and catering at places ranging from ritzy steakhouses to Dave & Buster's over that same time span. And of course, don't forget the thousands upon thousands that she spent at Target, BJ's Wholesale, and a New York City nightclub, all under the expense report rubric of office. Now, just to be clear, I'm not accusing Letitia James of anything legally wrong. She's been in public service for a long time, and she knows the rules well enough to avoid anything that would cross the legal line. I guess it just kind of rubs me the wrong way with how she's been using campaign funds to upgrade her lifestyle. Now, of course, lots of American politicians have been doing this for ages, even though that's not great. But James is trying to make herself out to be so morally upright in politics. Her whole image is built on being super ethical, an almighty high moral arbiter of American political life, at least as some people would call it. So it looks pretty shady when she spends over $4,000 from her campaign on something called Nathan's Lux Lifestyle on Martha's Vineyard. One more story about our esteemed New York Attorney General. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman has filed a federal lawsuit to block State Attorney General Letitia James from thwarting his order banning transgender athletes from competing against biological girls in competing sports events held at county athletic facilities. So James last week sent Blakeman a cease and desist letter claiming Blakeman's executive order is discriminatory, transphobic, and illegal. But Blakeman and Nassau parents Mark and Janine Mullen, whose 16-year-old daughter competes in a women's volleyball, they claim it's James who's discriminating by violating the constitutional rights of female athletes. Now, what's especially worrisome about this, according to the lawsuit, is that James is elevating transgender women to a level not recognized by federal law in the athletic context, all to the detriment of biological girls and women, which are federally recognized. They cited an example last month where it was reported that a girls' basketball team went so far as to forfeit a game because a transgender girl, meaning a biological male, injured 3 girls, and the coach felt compelled to terminate his team's participation in order to prevent further injury to the biologically female athletes by the 6-foot-tall, biologically male transgender player. They also argue that even sexual reassignment surgery can't erase the biological differences between men and women, citing differences in bone density. For Letitia James, though, this is not up for debate. The executive order is illegal, and it will not stand in New York. She point blank said that the executive order is transphobic and blatantly illegal. Nassau County must immediately rescind the order, or they will not hesitate to take decisive legal action. Seriously, guys, I could probably make a whole YouTube series about what prosecutors like Letitia James and Fani Willis are up to. Would you guys want me to do that? Hit me up in the comments down below so that we can plan out our channel content together. I'm already hard at work on the next one. I'll see you guys there.